They are at board 1. Picking up the tiles, good to go in just a few moments. Expecting a really high quality matchup here. Nigel's reputation precedes him, of course. And then Evans, the current Collins champion in North America.
Good matchup. I'm sad that we won't have Evans available to comment on Evans' game.
That would be funny if he could duplicate himself and
if he just
join us halfway through.
Made his play, ran back. Oh, that would be cheating, wouldn't it?
It would be. He'd be able to see Nigel's rack.
Wow, we have 2 New Zealanders in a row. This is exciting. Nigel going first. He lined up catnip. Seems to be the best play. He's playing so slowly. I wonder why he's playing so slowly.
Josh Sokol says, Nigel looks adorable. I feel like he's been looking more displeased with people lately, from Jackson Smiley. James Curley says, I've noticed that players from other countries tend to shake hands before games, but we in the US and Canada don't do that. Not sure why. I think it's probably just a cultural thing. I don't know if it's any intention to be offensive or not offensive. I think it's just perhaps something different with the way the game has evolved as far as expectations in different countries. Yes, Nigel and Evans, Aaron Bader. Very exciting. A basing on Evans' rack. This is actually ridiculous how lucky people are getting on their first turn. Well, you have to be good too. And as I saw, Bisnaga is the anagram. Looks like that's the one that Evans is going to go for. Yes, and Aaron Bader's pointed that out. That Bisnaga works as well. Lucas Freeman says, I remember when Evans first beat Nigel in 2010. That was a great game.
Can you tell us more about what made that game great?
Yeah, Lucas, feel free to add that into the chat. Jackson Smiley says, I was just eating some curry and was like, WTF, how is Jesse quoting me from around the world? Blame your fellow countryman, Josh Sokol.
Whoa, buying's the word? There's the third anagram now. Buying.
Oh, nice. I forgot about that one.
I guess, do you think Evans played Bisnaga instead of a basing to be more... I don't know, I guess they're the same.
Lucas says, Evans just took some great risks, showed no fear of the beard. Yeah, that is a fair assessment.
What? Oh, cool.
You can't play scared against Nigel, you just gotta do your thing. Easier said than done, of course, when you're playing easily the best player of all time. Doesn't really make mistakes. Jeremy Hildebrand, hello. This is the second game of the day. As Jackson said, missed Lyris Freeth beating Esther Perrins. The Twitch feed went off. Twitch feed is off. We're live, but Twitch machine got unplugged, it says.
Maybe it just needs to reload. Okay, no, I think it's okay. It's okay. Sorry. We just had to reload our window. Nigel played frame, which just seems to be the best equity play. Straightforward. Oh, it's another double V rack.
We have a double V rack in a Nigel game, and this time it's not Nigel with the double Vs. Last time that was a subject of a mind-bending set of plays at the start of the game.
Oh, that's right. And then before that, we had a rack that had double Vs, and there was a votive play.
Mm-hmm.
That was so weird. And we've talked about it at length with other people at this tournament, and have made no progress in understanding what was going on with Nigel's play.
Yep.
Kid before 8. The more we talk about it, the more confused we become. Cool. Moved is a good choice. The only other real choices were to just play Vav, but moved is good.
I think moved is fine.
Although in the sim, dumping the V's with Vav sims very well. It seems to be winning the sim.
Evans is holding on to a couple of premium tiles now. He's got Q and the X. Trouble is, it's also along with that other V that he hadn't got rid of yet, so it'll be a little bit clunky here for the next turn or two. Fortunately, should be able to score a fair bit regardless.
Yeah, moved. I guess the reason that move might not sim as great is it opens up some quite big spots with the hook of a moved or underneath parallel. So for example, Nigel could play cards for 40, making unmoved, scoring 40 points with a
That's what he's going to do. Cards holding on to GD. Jennifer Lee suggests perhaps Quena or Quena. I don't even know how to say that. Maybe Quena. And your suggestion's doing fairly well in Quackle at the moment, Jen. Quid is also fairly high up. Quid, I imagine, is doing well in part because it holds on to one vowel, but there's something to be said for Quena playing through a few more letters.
Oh, this is the wrong rack, sorry. Kumar points out there's a lot of vowels in the bag, which is correct. Kumar, come over here. You should be our guest commentator for a little bit. Okay, we'll have to physically pull him over at some point.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Rex was suggested briefly. Aaron points out that it is indeed quite risky, just because of, not just because of the Prex and Grex hooks, but because of the lack of options as far as developing your rack goes. Interestingly, Evans has opted for Xenon, placing the X in the double letter score, playing through the O and A moved.
Yeah. That seems... that's the next best play Quackle thinks behind the Queenas and Queens. Quackle thinks that Quena wins about 63% of the time and Xenon wins about 61% of the time. Yeah, they both seem good.
Chat says, interesting to see if Nigel will jump on Grex and take a bad leave.
I mean, he can score almost as many points. He can score more points playing through the F of frame, right?
Yeah, something like Duffer, I think I would go for. Alexius here says, "Wov, name a more iconic trio." Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that.
Another strong play, especially given how many vowels are in the bag, is Fug alongside frame, leaving DRS.
Nigel's got Duffer lined up. And now Fudge. Two options that are high on the list.
Yeah, for some reason Fudge is like Fudge putting the E in the 4 score lane sims very well. That just seems bonkers. And
yeah, Nigel's gonna do it. No fudge is given from Nigel. Well, literally a fudge given, but figuratively, no fudge is given as he blows that wide open.
what?
Well, it's also showing the highest option in Quackle. I just would not have the cojones to do that. That's
How is that best? I mean, Quackle thinks it's best, and I don't think it's best, but I am clearly missing something. And also, how does Evans not have anything to go there? That's so sad. Oh my gosh.
Aaron Bader says Zerg rush. Zerg, of course, not being valid, but nice. I like it. Lucas Freeman says Evans' face, laughing my ass off.
This is... Yeah. He deserves to make that face.
He has such crazy tells sometimes, it's hilarious. Zev says, please ask Nigel about the fudge play. Well,
I mean, we don't really get to ask him anything because we
don't usually get much information out of him if we ask something like that.
He only comes into this room to fetch his bicycle,
yeah,
which is over there in the corner.
Yeah, we can take a shot of the Nigel bicycle on my
Yeah.
iPhone and show everyone the cycle of choice. Nigel
Yeah.
Richards. I predict stocks in that company will go up. Aaron Bader says asking Nigel about any play is useless. If you want a straight up answer, yes, it is. I agree. Jennifer Lee says Evans looks like his brain is short circuiting.
Yeah.
Physics says, I'm guessing Nigel's bicycle is all pink and has a gorgeous woven basket. Not quite. Jason, you'll need to move that further off the screen. It's being captured on the feed.
Okay. I'm looking at the details of this Cockle sim. I'm just comparing Fudge versus Fug. And the results kind of make sense. I mean, they sim very close to each other. And Quackle thinks that if we play Fudge, then Evans will score about 7 more points next turn than if he plays Fug. And since Fudge scores about 6 more points, that explains why they're about even. You're scoring 6 more points, your opponent might score 6 more points, but then later on you're going to have a little bit of a better leave. Well, That's ones where they're about even. I still don't know why you would.
Randy says, I always assume Nigel rides his bike in silhouette in front of the moon with an alien in the basket. Nice. I like that. In brackets, that was Chris. Nigel and I chatted about his bike, so I know all about it. Ah, so Chris Lightman is watching. Amazing. Hello. Welcome to the feed. Dad City says, Evans looks like he's just going to let his clock run down. Channeling his inner Jesse Day for this round.
Is anybody on the chat one of the people who was riding bicycle with Nigel around New York?
Josh Sokols and Jackson Smiley both rode in one direction with Nigel.
Wow. Can we hear
summer.
Stories about that trip? 'Cause that sounds magical.
We'll have to get Josh to share. He's the more active of the two in the chat right now. Go ahead, Josh Sokol. Tell us about your cycling adventures with Nigel Richards this summer. So Quid is the best of the options that aren't exchanging.
Yeah, somebody suggested Quid in the chat. It seems.
And the other are some forms of exchange. Interestingly, RZ is the preferred leave if you're going to change.
The bag is more than half vowels. That's probably why keeping RZ is quite good. You're also closer to 0.
Yeah, I think 0 is probably the big thing there.
There's 50 seen unseen tiles, of which 20.
Oh, wow, very interesting.
29 are vowels.
Evans has gone for Vug for the G.
Oh gosh, why would you? Oh, don't! Oh, he's playing so scared.
Well, he's concerned about a setup, and when it's Nigel, I mean, that
but
is
what could he be setting up? The J?
J or a Z possibly left over.
But
in
he
this
has the
round.
Z.
Or pardon me, is the Z. Okay, but I mean, like it's because it's Nigel. He's concerned about a setup, and that's based on his history. It's fair. I mean, even if the probability of it is not so high, it's still Nigel.
Hmm.
Evans has managed to pull a few vowels, 2 O's, to manage his rack. Nigel had lunkers set up to play through the E on this turn, but that's of course not going to go down. Funk is an obvious scoring choice. There's also Nook through the E and Fudge at the bottom, scores a fair bit. Both with the same letters as a leave at the end of the day.
Yeah, and those leaves are really good, even though they're 4 constants, because at this point the vowel is significantly more than half. The bag is significantly more than half vowels. So Nuke looks quite nice.
So Evans has got 2 O's to manage some things here. And Fosey is a standout choice.
Do you think he missed Fosey?
I'm thinking he missed Fosey.
Whoa. Our nuclear engineer has suggested that nuke means nuke.
I would trust him.
Yeah, Woozy is not so far behind Fozy. Quackle thinks that Fozy wins 64% of the time, Woozy 60% of the time. But you still gotta think it's a miss.
Nook in this spelling is Scots. We're seeing some of these Scots words the last couple of rounds.
Oh.
I'm liking it. Alright, so Lanks from Nigel. Scores a fair bit. Q not O on Evan's rack. Kumar, do we have mod privileges for Jason's account yet?
Yeah, Jason has the mod.
Okay.
Ooh, so Evans has some choices here. He could play the Q with QAT for 32, leaving III. He could also play IWI through the W of Woozy, setting up his S. But yeah, you gotta start planning for the bag, and the bag is currently all vowels and blanks. And T's. So if you play EV, maybe draw a T, play cats for a lot. You could always play cat next turn. Nigel's probably wondering how in the world he drew 3 consonants from that bag.
Jennifer Lee says the bag isn't accounting for the 3 T's on Nigel's rack.
Well, I mean, Evans can't account for that either, so that's why we always look at the general unseen tiles.
Aaron, the Q hasn't gone anywhere. The rack has been typed in correctly on the screen. That is actually a Q, that's not a no.
Oh, I love the play of Evie. Great work. That's Evans might regret Iwi though, because he gives Nigel
Third is a fairly
play.
standard play here.
Yeah, whereas he had almost nothing. Well, he had before he had FYRD. Would have been his other option, leaving his 3 T's, but
I'd be tired of looking at QI by now. Third, then QI, then Evans Mingo's good game. Well, we'll see.
we'll see. Evans.
We'll see. Third is the right play. QI should go down in the top right, and then after that, what gets drawn and what happens, that's in question and will likely control the flow of the game from here.
I mean, Nigel's leave of STT is like quite a good leave when there's so many vowels in the bag.
He's drawn quite well, actually, I have to say.
Hmm. This is an exciting game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Evans has a Y now.
hmm. Any good ideas for Nigel?
For Nigel, well, his rack is certainly synergic, much better than it was before.
Yeah. He could. Should he play? Should he try to play off OT? Should he just try to play off?
Well, how many of the vowels are left?
Many.
Lots of E's. So he almost isn't really going to be, worried about using an E if it is something involved in the best play. That's 8.
Yeah, there's out of 33 unseen tiles that are not blanks, 19 are vowels, which is an insane percentage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great point that the E is not a good tile to, doesn't just, 8 E's in the bag, so playing the E is
There's
makes a lot
plenty of them. So
Yeah.
a play like I see File, F-Y-L-E, that's reasonable, scores well.
That's quite a good choice.
Aaron Bader suggests Meet, Ren, Da, and ST. It's decent.
Yeah, definitely decent. It sets up that S.
Nick Afanovsky suggests blowing up the rack a little bit more with State and Iwis, etc. Jackson Smiley suggests Olpae, O-L-P-A-E, and that's an overlap on top of Bisnaga. That is nice. And in fact, Nigel has that lined up on his rack at the moment.
Ooh.
He's going to play it. Nice play.
Ooh.
O-L-P-A-E.
Oh, that's very nice. Oh, that's very nice.
And that wasn't even on the list before of the static options, was it?
No, but
And it's shooting right up to the top.
Yeah.
Along with Meat and... Yeah, Meat actually from Aaron earlier is right up there with Olpae, but Olpae has just overtaken it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in that situation, leave evaluation becomes like as many constants as possible and as few vowels as possible. Because the interesting thing about that bag is the consonants in the bag were terrible. Like there's a B and an H and a J, more L's, P, R, S, T, W, Y. It's like you're not even going to draw any good consonants, so...
Evans is playing airy, not wasting too much time. And someone has pointed out Nigel has trajects through the sea and catnips. And he's already got it lined up, so...
Evans maybe should have played Raisiny for 39. That would have blocked and scored the most.
Joey Kraftchick watching says Raisiny would have blocked trajects, as Jason just mentioned. Yep. there it goes. So, I believe someone mentioned about 10 minutes ago, and Evan should just fill out the slip. Yeah, this game is not over until it's over.
Oh,
And
great point.
Biotex is blocked for Evans after Trajex, as Alexi points out.
Great
Most
find, Alexi.
unfortunate. Aaron mentions that Nigel's paying close attention to the vowel consonant ratio based on that play of Olpe, and I would have to agree.
Olpe was so nice.
And there's still 6 E's that are unseen at the moment.
And
the board is just about dead.
Yeah.
There's the T in catnips, there's the L in Lanks, and I guess the S in cards, so there's at least one more turn after this. Evans could possibly bingo, and oh, just to add insult to injury, Nigel has roulette through the T in catnips he's pulled out of the bag.
Ooh.
And as always, he's already lined it up.
If he wants to play something like BO or HO under 2x, that would
actually block it.
Keep him in the game, but he might be loath to do that. Give him the death.
In this case, it would save him. Evans is counting the bag.
Another interesting play is Meath, M-E-I-T-H, from the M of a moved. Because he needs to keep scoring, otherwise Nigel could outrun him. And that makes kind of a more higher scoring lane from the H. Yeah, the current vowel watch is 12 out of 19 non-blank tiles or vowels.
Jeez.
The situation is not changing.
Vowelitis is all set to kick in.
Should probably play BO, right? Like BO under Trajex.
I think that's fairly reasonable. Though he might be paying close attention to playing an E, just given how many are left.
Yeah.
But what could he really do? I mean, Maith, as you mentioned, but beyond that, all the good options involve is O.
Yeah. Sim is a fan of Meath and BO. I mean,
Renjam asks, why not Ho to set up the B underneath of Joe? I mean, it's certainly reasonable. That's, I think, part of why it simulated well in Quackle. But Bo, I think, just as far as potentially bonusing in the future, getting rid of the B is a little bit better.
yeah, especially when one of your lands is a bingo starting with S. And he's not going to be able to play the B underneath job and still win, because the game might not. Well, yeah, the game might last that long. And it's true that the B is useful for bingoing to the L, with like able words. But Quackle in the sim thinks that MEITH is number one, winning about, well, and then Bo, then Job.
Nice,
and
Evans.
Boda
He's
and
played
Ho.
Bo, which is, I think, a good choice, and will take out Roulette as an option, so that's going to save him from a certain defeat.
He still has a choice. What's he gonna draw? What's he gonna draw?
Here's the important part. What does he pull from the bag? I guess an E and then something else. Oh, he pulled OW. Showiest.
Whoa, showiest.
Well, that's a
Whoa.
nice turn of events, assuming that stays open.
Would that be enough? Oh, he's only down by 30. Whoa, what a game.
Nice. Yeah, Bo just saved his butt. This game was over otherwise.
And it was well considered. Yeah.
Alexi says, watch Nigel magically block it. Well,
Yeah.
that would be some block.
Yeah. What are his options, eh?
See, the interesting thing is, if you're Nigel, you have to start thinking about how many E's are in the bag. Bo suggests that Evans doesn't really have that many, if any at all. Not having an E is improbable, but I think Nigel can peg him at having a low amount of E's, possibly one or none. Meaning there's lots of E's in the bag. What do you do with that information?
But you're saying that he thinks Evan has a... Oh, I see.
Because Nigel has to consider what Evans likely has in his rack. So what could he have if it's not E's? So he can narrow it down.
Oh, you're right.
So that's considered in how he makes his decision. Because if you're into bingo, usually it involves an E, or maybe a couple. But you can safely deduce that Evans is not holding very many.
Right.
Because he has no reason to block when he's behind. And in this case, Nigel knows that his roulette was blocked, but Evans is probably not trying to block. He's likely just trying to score and manage. So, from Nigel's perspective, there are E's waiting for him. And yeah, the nice thing is, as mentioned in the chat, Evans has How for a ton of points in the spot he just played in if Showiest were to be blocked.
Or even just OW if he needs to adjust the timing.
Except with all the E's, I would actually probably be a little more preferable to Jow and Wet to get rid of one, just because there's still so many E's to draw. Again, it depends on what Nigel plays and what's left, but I'm immediately thinking about using an E. Because if you make a 2-tile play and pull 2 E's, that's going to hurt you. Unless you have an L or something for Steely.
Yeah. What do you think Nigel will play? Yeah, good. Yeah, in the chat. What does Nigel do? OE is a good choice. There's some other longer options too. Like, I didn't even know this is a word. Let out? Making JOL. And then the highest scoring play is Laurette through the T of Catnip. That scores 28, leaving U. The U leave is a pretty good leave here.
Someone is suggesting that Nigel could possibly play Neat down from the M and unmoved.
But he probably doesn't want to set up an S hook.
So he's playing underneath. He's playing long. Elutor takes out an L lane, goes after a possible blank. And Evans is going to get to play his showiest. We have a game. I love it.
Yeah, Luthor is... Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, good play. That's
So
fun.
Nigel's pulling vowels. There's an L. P. Huh? That's actually pretty balanced. E. E. Oh. Nigel's pulled 4 of the last 6 E's. Wow. Evans has the blank. pulled a blank. Wow. What a game.
He has so many eyes.
Wow.
Wow. Whoa, who's gonna win?
Evans, I think, has actually stolen this at the end. Wow.
I'll hold off looking at the Quackle here. Does anybody see any winning lines for Nigel?
So someone's mentioned Senora for Evans at least, if Joris is good. Josh Sokol says Nigel is so damn unlucky. Wow. He's had a bit of a tough go in some games this tournament, and yeah, this one a bit of a twist. Pies he's playing. 27 points. Gives him a 17-point lead. Nigel has 4, so 9. Evans just needs to score 9 to tie, 10 to win.
He can do that.
I think he can do that. And he's just going to go for something super safe. Arrow works perfectly fine to accomplish what he needs to do. Spread doesn't matter, he just needs to win.
No, his highest scoring was Ariel underneath of Showiest. Oh, that was going back and forth to the very end.
Zev Kaufman says, this is how Nigel loses games. Yeah, sometimes it comes down to the very last play. I mean, that's an amazing twist for Evans. Missing the ease in the bag, pulling what he did after Bo. Bo was absolutely key because it blocked roulette, which would have driven the nail in the coffin, and the pull after Bo was just amazing. Great game.
I mean,
quite impressive.
Not often that WO is the dream draw.
Yeah, that's a rare dream draw. They're quickly scoring the tiles up. I have to point out Olpe from Nigel was outstanding.
Oh, what a play, Olpe.
It was just so good.
Olpe was so good. Fudge was also so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Nigel absolutely couldn't have done any better. He played superbly. Evans, probably Vug and Woozy were questionable. Other than that, very solid.
I'm sure he'll come in and talk about it.
Oh, that's right. He's the person who always comes and talks to us.
Jennifer Lee points out Evans' name is misspelled as Cinchi on a Quackle. And actually...
Oh my gosh, it is. I'm so sorry.
In this case, it works out pretty well. Evans is going to be like, yeah, it was a cinch. Beating Nigel, no problem. And then, yeah, on the stream there was Evan Clinchy, but Kumar just fixed it to Evans. So we are okay there again. Fixed now, yes. We'll see if we can get Evans in. I suspect he will probably make his way over, because he's been very good at coming to say hi. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the studio.
Yo, what up?
That was a dramatic win.
I'm feeling pretty good.
that was amazing. So, we get to talk about your game a bit.
Yeah.
Bo saved your ass. Did he tell you why?
I'm sorry?
Bo had saved your ass. He actually had roulette through the tea and catnip, so you
wow.
You were done if you didn't play there.
Well, I was still pissed off that he blocked Biotechs. Like,
yes.
I was going to win the game if he didn't bingo first. Like, he beat me to that spot. I was devastated when he put his bingo exactly where I was going to play mine. Like, it's a 80-point swing. Yeah. No, you don't get a chair anymore. Goodbye, Jason.
Kumar, can we have the shot on us, please? Thank you.
What a game!
All right.
That was pretty fun.
So there's been questions to see Nigel's bike. We'll see if we can do that after. Jennifer, now we're on the screen. Lucas is asking about Woozy versus Fozy on your turn.
I'm not sure what Quackle likes better. I was just kind of having an emotional response to having too many crappy letters and wanted to get rid of them. Fozy says Quackle says Fozy's far, far better.
Well, they don't sim very different. They sim like 2 win percentage points different.
Okay.
But
oh no, that's a pretty big mistake. Yeah, that was not a very good play. Yeah, I was getting frustrated about just having so many awkward letters, and I wanted to just play as many of them as possible, and I was not thinking straight. Yeah, that's like a 10-point mistake. That's bad.
That's all good. We just figured we'd check. Let's see.
Newsflash, I am not as good a player as Nigel. I make mistakes and he does not.
Okay, we'll do that next round, certainly. Someone asked about Raisiny as a possibility for you. After Lanks was played a little bit later on, instead of Airy, Raisiny would have gone through the Y there.
Oh, that I just kind of missed. Yeah. I looked at that spot, and I guess I was looking for like if there was bingo there, and I didn't think of a 7-letter word, and yeah, Raisiny.
Okay. Let's see.
I spent so much time on Vug that like I didn't have much time to
talk us through Vug.
Well, I mean, it's a situation where he's just drawn 5 random tiles after fudge, right? And often when you draw 5 random tiles, you're going to have at least 1 or 2 that are, high scoring tiles. He's going to have some sort of easy, 36, 42 point play through that E. And I really just thought that it was going to be important to block that E, even if it meant taking a small equity hit for myself. It's probably still worth it. Were there any alternatives to Vug that you guys liked? I don't know.
Someone asked about your placement of Vug. Why not one to the left?
Why not Vug 1 to the left? Yeah, that's an interesting decision, I guess.
The other options were mostly Quid.
Yeah, so Quid would keep a leave of G, R, V, W, Z.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was important to block that E. I thought that it was worth making a pretty significant equity sacrifice to block there because he's not super likely to bingo having just drawn 5 random tiles. Like he's probably going to be looking in most cases for a medium scoring play like 36ish in that corner. I thought that blocking that corner was good to do.
What do you think of Fudge?
I was very confused by it. I couldn't put him on any sort of range of possible leaves that he could have.
Do you think RS was one of his possible leaves?
An S made sense to me. Like I thought he was opening up a new spot for his S on the right, making ifs, but yeah, I figured maybe RS or TS, but I didn't narrow it down that specifically, really. I thought that no matter what he has when he plays Fudge, he's drawing 5 random tiles, and he's not necessarily going to bingo just because he's Nigel. It doesn't work that way. we all draw random tiles like everybody else.
It's true. And then one other question people had was on this move. People wondered about things like Quena or other options, and what were you going through as options in your head?
Yeah, what did I write down? I wrote down Xenon, and yeah, I wrote down Queen and Queena. I thought that if I keep QU on my rack, I'll be in good shape to continue scoring more next turn. I thought if the leaf with Queena is like NVX. I thought that QU was more likely to be potent next turn than the X and some other clunkers were. I thought that Xenon was a way to just kind of keep the pressure on and keep scoring against him.
Cool.
I did not know that I was going to... What did I do? I kept QN or QVU and I drew like GRWZ. Yeah, I did not know that was going to happen. That was just a really tense few turns where I was just trying to play through that junk and find a way out of it.
And you did.
I don't think I played particularly well, but it worked out, I guess.
You're quite unlucky to not have a play through the E of Fudge.
Yeah, I know. There's just nothing. I think all that time that I spent, it was 3/4 of it was just like fuming about how annoying that was. That there was nothing through the E.
It was funny. Jennifer noted that. She was like, "It looks like your brain is exploding," or something similar to that.
Yeah, well, she's seen my brain explode many times. Like she's seen many situations like that where I just like can't find a play and it's so frustrating. So yeah, that was what that was, as she well knows.
Fair enough. All right, we will let you quickly grab some tea, little break before you start your game in 5 minutes. Good luck in the rest.
Out there.
Oh, I just had that for breakfast. I can have more of it?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Get some coconut rice.
Good luck,
All right,
sir.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.